Hey everyone, we are going to be working on some onboarding screens. So that means like we're going to work on things like swiping and all that fun stuff. Let's take a look at what it looks like. So we are on our onboarding screen right here. And the way it's going to work is we're going to do two different interactions. We're going to have one where you can click, and then we can have one where we can swipe back and forth and change the content. And you'll notice the little colors moving from side to side here. You know, it's changing position and a little bit of size. So let's jump right in and I'm going to show you how to create that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually take all these and I'm going to bring them over. And I'm just going to call this our V2 version. I'm just going to close that. So in our V2 version, I'm just going to actually delete all of these connections. No cheating. We are going to do it right from scratch. So one thing you'll notice from screen to screen, what I've done here, and I can show you because I'm going to connect it for you all, but we have certain things named differently. So we have illustration 1, and if we go over here, there's illustration 2, because when we smart animate this, if you take a look over here, when we move from screen to screen, we are going to be using push, and it's going to smart animate all the matching layers. So that means any layer that's matching, what's going to happen is it's going to actually not push. It's going to stay the same. So like this next button is not going to move. The skip button is not going to move because if we look, this one's skip container repeats from frame to frame. So does this container. But the things that change within this container, say this one that's named onboarding screen 1, like the details here, are not repeated, as you can tell. Only this large container and this small container that's holding the button within. So remember, this stuff is going to stay the same. So this button's going to stay the same here, button's going to stay the same here. This one's called a container as well, but inside it has the label and it's going to have that button that's named the same. So it's going to nicely dissolve. Whereas these things are going to fly in. If we also take a look at the back, we can see, you know, we have the blur option here. This blur circle. So, you know, we can keep that nice and tight like that. And you can see that it's named the same and it's on the exact same hierarchy of all the layers. Like all the layers are all the same in terms of their hierarchy. So blur is right at the back in all the instances and so on and so forth. So let's get into it. So what we're going to do is we are just going to on click, we're going to go ahead and let's move over here. So we have this. You know, we just want that to move slightly. You can use my designs or you can come up with your own. So on click, boom. We are going to navigate, but we're also going to move in push. There we go. We're going to push it out in that direction. We want this screen to push all that out. But the one thing you need to remember is smart animate those matching layers. So let's take a look. Press play. And we're going to take a look at our V2. Here we go. So you see, we have the fill changing of that blur layer, and this item, you know, slides in. All these other items are going to stay the same. So maybe A100's not fast enough, and we're going to do the exact same here. So on click, 500, perfect. What we're also going to do now is we're going to do something pretty cool. So when we swipe, we're going to take the whole frame at this point now. So we can use our on drag. We're going to use the exact same. So let's go back and restart this. So now we can actually simulate what it's like to kind of drag that or swipe it. So we're not going to have a swipe going back that way, but we are going to do this. From the middle frame, we can go back. So remember though, now that we're going back, the item needs to come in this way. And yes, we can have more than one actual drag interaction on an item because we are specifying those directions here and we are linking to different destination. So we're linking to those different frames. This one's coming in now from this side. So remember, that animation is really going to help you. That little preview is going to help you figure that out. And then over here on this screen, we're just going to go back that way now. And remember, if we're going backwards, it's coming in from this way. So let's take a look. We can go like this. We can go, ooh, okay, so this is where we need to always remember, you know, where exactly are we going to use, like in terms of our interaction. So we have two drag interactions on this instead of a click interaction. So let's go back. There we go. Beautiful. Okay, so now we just need to make sure that this one is on drag. Perfect. And now you see how our button does a nice little swap and fill. But then we have this item. So if we don't want that to slide in, what we would do is, you know, we bring it in here. We're going to copy it, and I'm going to go into my container, go to the bottom here. It's going to make sure that things are, you know, nice in terms of their positioning. So this one, you know, its bottom is 20 pixels, whereas this one is not 20 pixels, is 56 on both ends. So we can specify it that way. So it's going to stay the same. And then we can go in here and then we can just mess with the opacity. So instead of like sliding in, which is kind of like, you know, a little crazy, we can just like mess with the opacity and it'll just nicely come in. Oops, let's do it again. Boom. And there you go. We even improved upon it. So that is how you use some swiping interactions, or more specifically dragging in Figma. But you can drag, you can click, and create some nice onboarding screens.